Asked to talk a little bit about what's going on with nuclear power in space, and the important thing is a lot, and it's enabling. We've currently got the New Horizons spacecraft about to go by the planet Pluto on July the 14th of 2015, and it wouldn't be happening if it weren't for nuclear power supplies. These have been some resilient things that we have been working on for decades now. There's a role for them in the future. A lot of things going on, looking out over the next 20 years of what we can do with new space exploration robotically. A very interesting program that we're looking at perhaps maybe coming up 15, 20 years from now is a thing called Interstellar Probe to take over from the Voyagers and make the next leap into interstellar space. And it's not going to happen without nuclear power. A lot of things also going on with respect to looking at the human exploration program. We've talked a lot about going to Mars. Hopefully that's going to be in the future, and if we do that, it's not going to be without nuclear power. So there's an incredible future out there. We need a lot of good people. I've certainly been an enthusiast about this ever since that I was a kid. I'm one of the original space cadets. I'm getting old. It's time to pass this on to the next generation, and there's a lot of things to do. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of study, a lot of dedication, but it's the sort of thing that is definitely worth doing. I've been involved with the space program now, starting out as a graduate student. I actually worked on some of the experiments on board the Voyager spacecraft, which is still running 37 years after launch. We've been involved with looking at the particle radiation environment out past the end of the solar wind. And again, if it hadn't been for nuclear power supplies, that sort of thing wouldn't be happening. We've got a lot of things that have been going on with respect to looking at what can be done in the future with nuclear. I've personally been involved a lot with looking at the plutonium-238 supply issue. Of course, it's the main radioisotope that's been used now for decades to power spacecraft going out into space. Been a lot of issues about restoring the capability to make the material in the United States of America. That's now on track at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. One of the things that I've been personally involved with is looking at the NASA's so-called Planetary Decadal Survey. I was involved with formulating that the last time around. That's looking out at what sort of missions that we might want to be carrying out over the next decade or so. Many of those require some form of radioisotope power supplies on board. We're talking about going to places where there simply isn't the kind of sunlight that you need to power solar arrays, and yet there's compelling science still to be done. Again, right now we've still got Cassini, of course, operating in orbit around Saturn. That's going to be going on for another couple of years before that mission comes to an end. We're going to be looking into the future about perhaps a Uranus orbiter probe mission. People have been talking about trying to get out to Neptune as well, and out into these far-flung corners of the solar system. There is no other way of going out there other than by using some sort of nuclear power supply. I've just been involved in doing a large trade study looking at what you can do with small fission reactors versus radioisotope power supplies. And at least right now for the Science Mission Directorate within NASA, this is the piece that's responsible for dealing with robotic probes. The radioisotope power supplies are probably the best thing for us to be using. Fission reactors have certainly got a future with NASA. We're going to be looking at those hopefully as well. There's some activity going on right now with the Space Technology Mission Directorate at NASA on developing something called kilopower, a small fission reactor that might actually help to pave the way to larger units that will be needed if we're actually going to get out to Mars one of these days. So again, there's a lot going on out there, and we need a lot of people that are enthusiastic and are hardworking, and like to see a goal set for the human race and for the United States, and for us to go out there and to make the mark on it.